So Sakir Grand Prix, that was that's probably top 20 races, top 15, top 10, maybe even for me of all time, personally.
Really,
Yeah.
really. That was yeah, it was like a chaotic race, like just a toss up. I don't know if it was anything to do with like the track or like just there's a mixture of like a decent track and like team mistakes, one certain team and yeah, just a bunch of things that just like made this beautiful thing that we all um I think it was definitely better than I definitely think it was the best race of the season so far. Well,
Mm.
there's one more race, but
Yeah,
um,
that's probably a debate
yeah,
at the end of the season, I
with
guess,
between Turkey,
and Monza
no, I
as
think it was
well.
and Monza, yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah, they're
Now
all
Monza was like because of penalties that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, but
yeah.
like
Yeah. But
this one is like because of team mistakes, so it's like okay,
yeah, I guess like looking like this was like the most bizarre weekend I've ever like gone into. Like
yeah,
going at the same track, the same circuit is even like weird in itself. But obviously Hamilton got COVID and Grosjean was just injured from just that chaos from that Bahrain Grand Prix.
yeah. I don't know. I thought obviously it's 2020, anything can happen. Um, but yeah, when I saw that Grosjean crash, I thought like the worst.
Yeah,
I don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna say I thought he like was dead. I thought it was like I was
yeah,
like no one survives that. I was just like, oh my god, when I saw it, because I wasn't watching the race live. I checked on Twitter to like see just the race updates, and then because usually Twitter they show their first lap
yeah.
before the race started. I just saw like a massive fireball, and I was just like, that's probably one of the worst. That's probably the worst crash I've ever seen in my life, just because of fire. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like
What I was saying was the worst thing. The worst thing when I was watching it live was when they don't show replays for a prolonged amount of time is when you can tell
yeah,
that something is really bad. Um,
yeah,
yeah, they didn't show replays for maybe 10 minutes because it obviously got red flagged and yeah, they I don't know. They would like Ricardo came out afterwards about the replays saying that they should have been shown so much. Uh, it's like a debatable issue, really, isn't it? Because I feel like if someone doesn't die, then I feel like you kind of have like a duty to see the replay. I guess I don't know.
yeah. No, I feel like as long as they don't die or like not severely injured or anything like that, because I feel like we've shown replays of like people that got like worse injuries. So like Felipe Massa in like 2009,
Nine. Yeah.
when he got hit with the on the helmet. Like we've seen that like 1,000 times. Like Kubica one in Canada.
Yeah.
That's like probably what top five worst of, because that one just kept going. Like he hit the okay, it's done, and then just kept going. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, like when you see
I think maybe
the
what
thing about the
Ricardo.
Grosjean ones, the fire, like yeah,
Yeah, I think like what Ricardo was saying is that F1 do often like, especially like the Bahrain Grand Prix after that was just monumentally boring. Like it was so bad, and I think
yeah,
F1 do like to milk out their replays a lot on the live feed. So I guess there is an argument for that. But
no,
what were we gonna say?
it does add drama. Like
Oh yeah, for
it does
sure.
like
Yeah,
add drama to like the whole thing. Like just be like, oh, what they're doing is so dangerous, and then like people would want to watch it more, I
yeah,
guess.
and I guarantee they're going to use that crash in so much marketing next year. Like, it's probably going to be crazy. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Um.
yeah. Like, and it's probably unrelated. Like, what do you call it? When like Conor McGregor was fighting Khabib, and he threw like the dolly at the bus, and they just abused that. They
Mm,
abused that for, like the run up throughout the fight. So it's probably gonna be like that again.
yeah.
I could probably see it. Yeah. So we're like
Yeah.
lights out and away we go, and then Grosjean explosion just inserted into the clip.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Um. Also, one other thing that I thought was funny was that when the race restarted and the Lance Stroll crash, just like another like bizarre crash. It was funny like the difference in like tone of like that crash and the Grosjean crash, where it was like I just feel like the Lance Stroll crash was just like a clown kind of moment. Like even though there was like the air of like being like cautious about safety and because of what happened on lap one. I don't know if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I was listening to the radios, the team radios when that crash happened. Not when the crash happened on YouTube. Like they do like there's a channel that does like team radios that weren't shown on like TV.
Yeah.
Uh, I was just listening to a bunch of them, and then everyone thought like it was like pretty much done for Grosjean. Like everyone was like, "Oh, is he okay?" And then no one says anything. Only like Haas and Alpha knew like, "Oh yeah, he's okay,"
Yeah.
because I think Haas got the information first. Like
Yeah.
everyone else was just like on the edge of their seat.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was a crazy.
Yeah, and one other thing that obviously has to like can't go unmentioned is sort of the we have to give everyone has to give a sort of tip of the hat to all the sort of the volunteer marshals
Mm,
and the safety car drivers and like all of those guys performed at like the best performing. They did exactly what they were supposed to do in a
yeah,
situation like that, and like all the contingency plans worked for something like that. Like having the safety car follow on the first lap, and the medical car, and you know having the fire extinguishers, and all the safety cell. Because I've never seen a crash like that where the bottom, like the rear half of a car is detached. That is just insane. But
yeah. And it's just a cockpit carcass like embedded into the wall.
yeah,
Like it's literally just in the wall. I've just never seen anything like that. That's
yeah,
crazy. And
yeah.
the fact that he only got away with like, burnt hands. So, like he like I don't know how long, like 30 seconds, a few seconds. It's just so crazy.
Yeah. Um he that's his last race at F1 obviously, and they brought in
Mm.
Pietro Fittipaldi this race, and he'll be in next weekend. But I guess like transitioning to the Sakir Grand Prix, one quick thing from qualifying that I wanted to mention was how like Leclerc and Ferrari seem to have got straight line speed somehow. I don't know how they did it, but they do. Because like they
Yeah, when
qualified, Leclerc qualified in P4, right? And
mm.
I'm just so perplexed. And
Yeah, I don't know where he gets this like pace from that car because I feel like that car is like just cursed. That Ferrari car, 2020 Ferrari car is cursed, especially
mm,
Sebastian's one. But like the car is like cursed as well. Like, it's not the same car. There's no way. Like I think that just proves that this is not the same car.
yeah,
Someone has different aerodynamic features or something, or a different engine. Like all I'm saying is Ferrari have been known to cheat and stuff.
yeah,
But nah, it's no way.
yeah. Um, that's just something I wanted to mention. But I mean, the big story was obviously Russell, and I guess he qualified P2. It was super close qualifying. I think that's just because this lap time was so short. Like I've never seen a race with 80, like almost 90 laps, but and a sub 1 minute lap time as well in qualifying. But yeah, and so like lap one, I guess I feel like Leclerc just no, not Leclerc, Russell. Um, the fact that he was able to get into the lead on lap one and he was like significantly ahead. Just
Yeah,
I don't know. I've just this guy is just I guess just like talking about the whole race, I guess. Um, even though Russell didn't win, I feel like the win is meaningless. If he won it, it would be meaningless compared to what, like, he's already shown that he probably would have won that race. So that's like enough to, that's more than what he would have needed to do all weekend. Like the win isn't actually that meaningful apart from like the statistic. Basically, that's all. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I feel like throughout the whole race, he was just like better than Bottas.
Yeah,
We saw, like him. He was like few laps in, and he's just like, oh, let me know when to push. Like 2 seconds ahead already, like out. And just like, I was pushing the car that hard. It's just like crazy. Um, yeah, like the first lap. First lap was kind of, I don't know, just kind of wasn't crazy or anything, but the incident with Leclerc and Verstappen
yeah,
and Perez.
yeah.
But
And
yeah, Ross. Yeah,
no, what were you gonna say? Just on Russell, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say. Russell during qualifying, even though he qualified P2, that was the first time he's been out qualified.
Mm.
But like, there needs to be like context added into that because he was in a race like seat that was like not designed for his body,
Yeah, I saw this.
and yeah, it was very tight and stuff. And like he apparently like had bruises and stuff after he was done with every session and had to ice him. And there's like another example where like his feet were like he had to wear like shoe sizes that were like a size smaller than his actual clutch and like gear pedals, steering wheel were like a lot smaller than what he's used to. And just like he had to just do a lot of like adjustments just to get used to the car. He only had like 3 practice sessions before that, and the fact that he managed to qualify 2/100ths of a second out of pole position against a much more experienced teammate, it's like that's just enough. Like you don't even have to look at the race to like with just that context and the qualifying, you could just look at it and be like, oh yeah, this guy's good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like
You know?
he had all these issues. Like I saw the thing about how he didn't know the buttons on the wheel. Like he was pressing the wrong ones all the time. He was having to ask for assistance, and they probably did a sort of, they probably using an old seat mold from when he tested in the car at Austria, I think, and yeah. So just the fact that he was able to, even be on pace is just amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to make that point because I see, like, I was on the Twitter account during the race a lot, and I was tweeting. I was quite, like hyperbolic about it, but I feel like I really don't think it's a massive deal that he didn't win. It's kind of like how like Hulkenberg came back this season, and he didn't get, even though he didn't get a podium, it's like he shown what he can do. And it's this. I was saying this to you before you recorded. It's like how Hamilton lost the championship in 2007, right? So he couldn't get the championship in his rookie season, right? Okay, he didn't get the championship in his rookie season. Now go forward almost 15 years, and then you look back on his career. Does that really matter at all? Does anyone apart from like me, you, and people on Twitter even like know that? No, it doesn't really matter because it's something that he learned from, and I don't look at it as like a blemish on his career. I just see it as like, yeah, it's normal to not get the championship in your rookie season. So I feel like Russell's proved that. I just want to say, I feel like Mercedes have no justifiable reason to not put Russell in the car anymore. When you Bottas has been in that team for 4 seasons now. He's been in F1 for almost 8 seasons, and he's being almost outqualified and being outraced. And George Russell had better time management and race pace, and with all the other factors as well. I feel like George Russell. I mean, I feel like he has to be in the car next year. Like, if it was just based on merit, I know obviously they won't for next year because it's all like done and dusted at this point. But yeah, I just had to say that I feel like Bottas is a midfield driver in like one of the best cars ever.
Yeah. I don't know this. I can't lie. This is just like Verstappen in Red Bull. This is the same situation, exactly the same. Because when they put Verstappen in the Red Bull, everyone was like, "Oh, is it going to be worth it?" And then he won the first race. He was in there, and then we were like, oh, "Okay, that makes sense. It all makes sense now." And I just feel like now the only reason George Russell isn't in a Mercedes is because they have a 7-time world champion, and they're like, "Okay, we can hold off on Russell because we have the best driver, one of the best drivers of all time, just chilling in our garage." So I don't feel like Mercedes are in a hurry, which is like very unfortunate, I guess.
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like
that's sort of the classic thing. You see it a lot in football and a lot of team sports where it's like teams that are at the top. They just get like they don't change out their teams, so then they don't hire new people, and then they just fall down. So it's like if Mercedes want to actually, they can't just be resting on the laurels. Like Lewis Hamilton isn't going to be in F1 for the next 10 years. He's in less than five, like maximum 5 more seasons. So,
we say that, but like. Well, like the difference between this and like football is because like football, a player can just leave and go to another team, and then that team can later come back and beat you. I don't feel like Russell's gonna leave if he's like not in a Mercedes for just one more season. I don't feel like it's like even possible for him to leave. That's the thing. Like I feel like if they held off on him for like 3 seasons and his like contract ran out, I feel like he probably would go to like a Red Bull or maybe an Aston Martin or something like that.
Yeah.
But in this context, it's just like, okay, I think Russell's going to stay in the Mercedes. No, stay in the Williams for one more season. Really like get more and more experience, and then he's going to make that jump into a Mercedes, and he's going to get into like winning. Like he's going to come into a team with like a winning culture and stuff, and then he's going to be like groomed to be like the next world champion.
Yeah.
Or next like one of the next group of world champions, or
Yeah. It's kind of like symbolically equivalent to how Schumacher retired in 2012 and Hamilton took over a seat, even though the context is different. Lewis Hamilton was a champion at the time, and Schumacher was significantly older. But I feel like if Hamilton gets 8 titles, I feel like he sort of has the duty to leave. I don't know. I feel like he at that point he'll be too good for F1, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah. I don't know. Is he going to go 2 ways, where he's like, "Oh, I've broken the record, and no one's going to break this record. I'm pretty sure."
Yeah.
Or he's going to be like, "Oh, you know what? Let's see how many we can go, and just keep going till like he loses."
But like,
then even when he loses, we'll be like, one more season.
Yeah.
Just depends on him.
But the thing is with this is
F1
that
F1 is literally just in his hands right now.
We're just assuming that Mercedes will only take on Russell if Hamilton leaves, right? But I feel like they need to get him in at the same time as Lewis. I feel like they just have to get rid of Bottas at this point. We've been saying it since 2018,
Mm.
like the end of 2018, and having a seat like that going to waste, like, it's not being rude, but it is like Bottas is not the driver that it should be in that car, justifiably. I'm not even like concerned
I
about
remember
Hamilton.
I remember at the beginning of the season when it was all like everything was all like up in the air with Mercedes. I remember being like a Vettel to Mercedes. Like I was avid for it. I was just like, let's have this one. Let's just go. You know, because I'm like, oh, Vettel versus Hamilton. You know, the ultimate storyline. You know, the two greatest champions of this generation that we're
Yeah.
watching now, and it's like all of this stuff. You know, it was like, oh, these guys have won like 11 of the last 12 championships. You know, like it's just been Vettel, Hamilton, Rosberg, Hamilton. You know, and it would have been like amazing to see them like race against each other and stuff. But like the only reason I was like really calling for it, it wasn't because of, you know, the fact that they were champions and the fact that they were, you know, like it was like a rivalry and stuff. It was because I felt like Vettel was one of the only few drivers that could really push Hamilton. I feel like he's very comfortable in that Mercedes team where like everything's going to him, and like he's got the best car by far at this point. He's not really gonna lose championships or be in a championship battle, and it's not going to be exciting for everyone. When Bottas is on in the other garage, and it's just very, you know, like unfortunate that we have that, and like I have to call a driver out and be like, oh, he's not good in that car.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's just very.
I feel like Russell could match Hamilton, to be honest. If with half of like with the season in Mercedes, I really think that he could actually do it. You know, like Leclerc came in and he matched Vettel last season. I'm not including this season because this season's just whack. But you know, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Verstappen matched Ricciardo.
Yeah,
like as soon as he came in, like I remember, you know, Ricciardo's kind of in like no man's land at the moment with like his career. But like I remember a time where like everyone was like, oh yeah, Ricciardo's going to be the next person to win a championship. You know, obviously that hasn't panned out or anything, but I feel like he is a championship, like world championship caliber driver.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like I feel like he could definitely fight for him, and like, you know, I feel like half the grid could actually genuinely fight for a championship.
Yeah.
If they were like given the right circumstances, you know. I'm not gonna name everyone after, you know, that would be fun. That's a video idea, but like, yeah, like I don't know. Like when I see Verstappen, Leclerc, and Russell, I'm just like, that's the next Alonso, Hamilton, Vettel type of thing, you know?
Yeah,
that's what I feel like.
Yeah, it's super exciting, and like we've been talking about it for a while, but I guess it's just isn't. I think hopefully 2022 will help this, but you know, that's a whole different sort of story. I guess sort of. I just wanted to cover like what actually happened with Mercedes. Apparently it was a radio error where there's like an automation of radio messages that gets prioritized based on who's talking, and people were talking at the same time, or something weird like technical issue happened, and I think they put Bottas's tires onto Russell's car, right? And then they had to like pit them both again. Yeah, it's like I feel like whenever we like actually want Mercedes to win, they don't win. Like Germany 2019, like they just bottled it as well. Like
no, it was what do you call it? They put like a mixed set, like it was a mixed set or just Bottas's tires. They don't know which. I don't know. They probably know now, but like I haven't had time to research. It's they put like a few or all of Bottas's tires on Russell's car.
Yeah.
Left. And then they realized that they put the wrong set of tires on Russell's car when they're changing Bottas's tires.
Yeah.
So then they put Bottas's tires back on.
Yes.
So like he's
Yeah.
still with the old set of hard tires he was on, and then that's why Bottas went backwards, and then Russell boxed again. Otherwise, he would have got a penalty
Yeah.
or something
Okay.
like
Yeah, that
that.
makes
I don't know.
sense. I haven't learned about why when Russell was chasing down Perez, he got a supposed left rib puncture or something wacky happened.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure
I was
yet.
just gonna put that down to like debris or something like that.
Yeah, and I think this track is super bumpy. You know that section that doesn't get used at the top of the track, I feel like is just deteriorated for like 10 years or something. But yeah.
Yeah, they should have refurbished it like Turkey.
Yeah.
Imagine that tight section, cars just slide in. Like, that's just a hazard.
Yeah. So I guess like one thing maybe, what did you think of the lap one just shenanigans of this race?
Yeah, like I was just watching it and I'm just like, usually I don't know, see like people every single time someone makes a mistake that you're just like, oh, this guy's an idiot, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you see like someone like Grosjean or like a Stroll or like a Magnussen get into an accident, you're just like, oh, okay. But like when I saw Leclerc lock up, I'm just like, oh, you idiot, you ruined the race.
Yeah.
And then Verstappen's out as well.
Yeah, that was so bizarre.
Perez was all the way back in 18th.
Verstappen
I was like,
didn't even do anything wrong.
He did nothing.
He just basically got understeer on the gravel into the barrier. Like, so bizarre. And I feel like Verstappen would have won that race personally.
Yeah. No, but then like if we say Verstappen was let's say Verstappen didn't crash or anything, and then it was just like Sergio, Leclerc, and Verstappen just all racing. I feel like with Mercedes like doing all of their like shenanigans, doing whatever they do, it would have been crazy because like I don't know, it could have been like, oh, Verstappen got a puncture instead of Russell or something. So something like that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That we haven't really factored in, but yeah, I do get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like other things being equal, ceteris paribus.
Yeah. I remember watching it at the time and thinking, I remember Martin Brundle on the Sky commentary saying that Perez should have expected someone to come down the inside. That just stuck out in my mind, which is just like bizarre. Like when they say stuff like that.
Martin Brundle just says the most ridiculous things at this point. Like he shouldn't even be. Just replace him with David Coulthard, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like David Coulthard's getting wasted at Channel 4. Like no one watches Channel 4 F1.
Yeah,
I do, but like that's because I don't have Sky Sports anymore.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I remember thinking it was maybe a racing incident, but yeah, I feel like the penalty is like the rare time that justified. I feel like the penalty is definitely justified. Yeah.
Justified. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, I'm not really a fan of like after race penalties that go into like the next race.
Yeah.
I'm like of the mind of like on like with this been done, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just feel like when the race is done and like everything's been done and dusted, and you get given like a grid penalty because of something you did at the beginning of the race, it's kind of like unlucky because like most of the time people are just like, oh, this is a racing. This is your fault, but it's a racing incident.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like 100 times.
Reminds me of Austria 2019. That was a race that I nearly stopped watching F1 if they were going to give Verstappen that penalty. I don't know if you remember it.
Oh yeah. I was like, if Vettel got a penalty in Canada, that's a penalty.
Yeah. Oh my god! Don't even get me started on that. Oh my god.
But
How many
like, I don't know,
hours
that
I've
one was weird because he wasn't steering in. He just let the car roll into Leclerc's car,
yeah,
and then I don't know, just that was just very very aggressive. Like, it just
and
pushed
then
him off the road.
it took 3 hours to decide or something ridiculous. Yeah, I hate when they do that. But yeah,
But,
um,
but
oh, what were we gonna say?
but when I it's like, but when I look at like after rate like penalties for the next race, I don't really like him. But then this one, I'm like, okay, because he like basically killed one person's race and almost killed the other person's race, but the other person just somehow won.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny
wait, no, but like,
because
was
like Perez was involved in the crash, but he won the race, and that's why it's so amazing.
yeah, like, was Verstappen going out like as a result of Leclerc's
They like
antics, or was it just
yeah, 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 pretty much, yeah.
okay? Okay, yeah, then I guess if you take some, I guess if like really want to do race penalties and on to the next race, like if you ruin someone else's race, you get like a penalty. I
Mm,
feel like that should be like a
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
But
um,
but like, I
yeah,
don't mean like in the sense that like you take someone off the track. I'm talking like you like actually take them out of the race.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
So any, so like it's so weird, like because I feel like I don't know anything about the midfield in this race because the
yeah.
midfield is at
It's
the
because the
front.
midfield were at the front. The midfield were at the front.
Yeah. Ocon got a podium, which was, I was quite happy to see it because Ocon's like a weird driver
Yeah.
because when I was watching in 2017, he was sort of like a prospect at the time, especially for me because he was one of these drivers that was so consistent and he was going toe to toe with Perez and um
I think it was being Perez
yeah,
like a lot.
and I remember he would never crash out of the race and he had good time management and I thought it was decent at the time. I feel like I don't know what's happened this season, but I don't know. He's just gone completely under the radar and it's weird sometimes when we get these results that you kind of think it's the classic like recency bias of like, oh, Ocon is like good now just because of this podium. But
Yeah.
like, how do you feel about like Ocon and what he's done this season?
If we're going off like my F1.5 predictions, like I have no faith in Ocon. What do you call it? I predicted Perez, Ricardo, then Stroll, but then it's Ocon. I checked it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I was quite accurate this weekend. I was like,
yeah,
I'll give myself a pat
yeah,
on the back. But the thing is with Ocon, it's just like I've just like forgotten he's on the grid like half the time. He's just loitering around like 13th to like 8th, like consistently. He's like all right, I guess, but like I don't know. I feel like he doesn't take. I'm not gonna be like, oh, he doesn't take enough risks or anything like that. I just don't see him like doing like enough like overtaking. Maybe that's just like them not like putting it on camera or whatever. But I don't see him like progressing through the midfield with like his driving or
yeah,
whatever. I don't know. As crazy as that might, I don't know. Like I don't know. I feel like when he has like a good race, it's like a very very good race. But like when he has like I don't feel like he has a bad. I don't feel like he has bad races. I feel like he just has like mediocre or whatever.
yeah,
But
for sure.
with like, I feel like if he stays in that Renault team, and they like really get the car right, I think maybe they can do like a few good things, especially like next to Fernando Alonso. He's going to be like a clear second driver, like next to Fernando Alonso. He is a clear second driver right now, but like next to Fernando is going to be like, oh, this is obviously Fernando's team, right?
Yeah, I feel like next season is the season
But
that we can actually like judge him better because he has got like more experience in these kind of cars. Because gotta remember, like 2018 to 2019 was a fairly significant like change in philosophy for
Yes, yes,
F1
yes.
cars. So going from missing out on 2019 is like pretty, major thing to miss out on, and hopefully it's just like gained experience this year with like these kind of cars.
Mm. Um, yeah, it's just gonna be like next year. It's no Renault, it's Alpino, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, just a bit shit. Yeah, I feel like with these young drivers, I feel like they just need time. Like
Mm.
F1, there is no such thing as time. So like everyone's just in a rush to like find the next best thing, and then like no one finds it until they like, unless you like walk into like F1 like a world beater, like a
Yeah,
Lewis Hamilton
or a
or a Fernando
Leclerc or a
Alonso
Verstappen or even
or a Leclerc or a Verstappen.
yeah.
You're not like really gonna get like amazing opportunities,
Mm. Yeah, for sure.
which is good, which is kind of like unfortunate, but it's kind of like justified though. But like if you're not given like certain opportunities and like with certain teams, they're never really gonna know who's the best.
Yeah, I feel like that happened with basically all the young drivers from like 2010 to 2014. Like
just
they were all
just
midfield
just
drivers,
rude.
apart from Bottas. But
Yeah, yeah, and like Bottas got very lucky, and like look where he's at now.
yeah, compare him to like Magnussen, who came in the year
Yeah,
after, and he's like ending his career now in F1. So, and these guys, like I remember,
yes,
like like Magnussen in 2014, kind of feel like he like got a podium in his first race, and
yeah, and
he was
then
like an
just
actual
nothing after
prospect.
that.
Exactly, yeah. Um, but
Like
like I was saying before about Perez, like how like McLaren in the early part of last decade was just like the worst team for any young driver, and it's kind of like
yeah,
interesting how
like
they've
if
actually
mhm.
switched now into being a sort of like good place to go. I'd say like for people like Norris and
Yeah,
maybe not Van Dorn, but that's a bit of a exception.
to be honest, I don't feel like Van Dorn's like good enough for fun anyway. So
Yeah,
that's just me. Um, yeah, when I look at it, like Sergio Perez and Ricardo are like the only two, maybe Bottas. But I feel like Bottas has been given the opportunity to contend for world championships. But I feel like those two, like, maybe not Sergio Perez, but I feel like Ricardo definitely could have contended for a world championship if he was in the right car.
mm,
And it just like, because of Mercedes' dominance or whatever, it kind of ruined all chance of that.
yeah,
But then at the same time, if the Red Bull car was good, you know, he did outperform Vettel in like the same car. If it was like the same cars from like 2012 or 2013 just carrying on, I feel like the same thing would have happened anyway. That's winning everything,
yeah.
you know.
But
Yeah, this is like it's very all up in the air. Like you can be like, oh, this would have happened if this would have happened. Then we forget about like certain things.
yeah,
This from happening. Like that's the only way I can say it. But
yeah. I guess
yeah,
like
yeah, it's very nice to see it out now.
looking at sort of. So it's like mention McLaren because they had actually a really good race this yesterday, and Sainz up into P4,
Yeah,
and Norris made up 9 places in the first lap, which was insane. I don't even know how he did that. Um,
yeah, yeah. That's crazy. That's the third time we've seen some of these in like first lap antics. Like first Raikkonen, then Vettel, then Chris now.
yeah, yeah, it was. You love to see it, and also just wanted to like shout out Albon because last weekend he got on the podium, and I was like super happy to see him. I feel like he's slowly getting back to like what I used to really enjoy about watching Albon.
Mm, mm.
Um,
Um,
he didn't have like an amazing. I don't know what happened. It's just another Albon race. At Sakir. Not a great
when he
qualifying.
comes sixth,
Um, yes, I
yeah, I believe
believe
he
yeah
finished sixth.
sixth. I mean, considering all the
Mm.
chaos, I mean, it's not the worst result.
Yeah, but it's like
But yeah, I mean, when
Mercedes is gone, your teammate is
when
gone, like a
sorry,
bunch of
sorry.
cars have gone. Like you should be taking the chances that you get, you know. But
Mm, yeah, for sure.
that's up for debate. That's up for debate.
It's quite interesting seeing, Albon's, a lot of news has been coming out about sort of the Perez to Red Bull seat. I feel like I don't think it's going to happen personally. I can't see it happening.
Yeah, me
Um,
neither.
People are
But
really sort of really trying to pile drive this sort of narrative of Perez getting a seat at Red Bull. Um, I feel like Yuki Tsunoda got a win in F2 this weekend, and I feel like he's already got the AlphaTauri seat like locked down.
yeah, he won and he came second
Yeah.
as well. Um, yeah, no, like this is just like another F1 fan theory that's not going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
Because look, because this is literally Vettel to Mercedes 2.0.
I wouldn't say it's that
This is literally what it
extreme.
is. No, it is. Like, oh, this driver doesn't have a seat. What's the best possible seat on the grid left? Oh, Red Bull. We'll put it on. We'll put Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. It's like when Ferrari let go of Vettel and like no one had contracts. With like, oh yeah, Mercedes is the best seat and Vettel's one of the best drivers. Let's put him in there. You know, it's
Okay,
the same
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Um, I would, I
Like,
would
be realistic,
actually,
guys.
I would love to see Perez in that seat though. I can't lie, like to actually get him in the top seat after all these years, because this like
Yeah, it
sort
would
of
be
Perez thing is
poetic
very,
justice.
yeah. This has all been, like I said earlier, you could tell who's who in like sort of F1 based on how they reacted to this race, because well, the people that are extremely happy are like people like you and me who have been watching like F1 for sort of, basically like 10 years at this point, and people that have been watching since 2017, 2018. I feel like people don't
Yeah,
actually understand like the magnitude of Perez winning actually means, because like after all the stuff he went through, like after the low of 2013, just after getting so close to a win in 2012 with like podiums in a Sauber of all cars.
yeah,
um
in a Saba. No, yeah, this needs to be like said. I remember like we used to have like debates in like year 11 science or whatever about like Perez, and you being like, oh, he's just a midfield driver, and then I'm just like shouting at you like while we're meant to be doing work. I'm like, he came second in a Sauber and almost beat a Ferrari. Like, and then you just be like, oh yeah, that's cool and all, but like he didn't win or whatever. And then now I feel like we all see the truth.
yeah,
We all see the truth, you know. But like, I feel like Perez is like a driver that has consistently outperformed most of the cars he's been in. Every single version of like most cars, other than the McLaren, because McLaren, I feel like he's been consistently on podiums for Sauber. He left. Sauber hasn't got podiums since then. He's been on podiums for flipping Force India and what is now Racing Point, quite consistently. I just feel like, respect Negan. He's a race winner now, Grand Prix winner. Like when he gets introduced, like in interviews in the future when he hires, he's going to be cool. He's going to be put as Grand Prix winner if he's not going to be world champion. That's the next best thing to world championship. World champion.
yeah.
So like, yeah. This
I
is like
completely
very,
agree.
happy because I was like a Perez stan for like I don't know, like 9 or 8 years at this point, and then now like it finally paid off. Like,
yeah,
I'm just very happy. If we're like in an alternate universe with like Vettel, Hamilton, and Alonso not existing, I feel like he could have maybe like maybe even like a world champion, or like maybe that like I'm stretching it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
But like this is the next best thing.
for sure. Yeah. I guess one thing we never talked about, it's like old news at this point, but sort of like the Haas uh
Oh yeah,
driver situation. So they're taking in Nikita Mazepin and Schumacher. Schumacher won the F2
yeah,
title. It was
yeah,
it was more. I feel like it was people sort of expected Schumacher to win this weekend. But yeah, Mazepin in Haas. I feel like I'm just thought the same way about this as like Stroll and Aston Martin and Latifi and Williams, where it's like I don't know. I wasn't like super impressed by Mazepin in F2 this year, and like he's okay, I guess, and I feel like I'm just disappointed in Haas. I used to actually like really like Haas as a team, like in 2018, because it was like this narrative of like Renault versus Haas for best of the rest, and they seemed like a really cool team. But I think it's because of like the pandemic, obviously, that the finances are being really squeezed, and um, yeah, I'm just disappointed because Ilott that was like Ilott's seat, and he really deserved it. Um, as well as Schumacher, and this just goes into like a whole like wider narrative of like sort of a bit of a failing of the Ferrari Junior program, because they've brought in so much talent like in F3 and F2 especially, and they're just not pushing for like seats in F1 properly. And I feel like it's the classic argument, but it is kind of true that like Schumacher sort of got that seat because of like the name, obviously, in the history, and I just feel like for like the seat in Alfa Romeo, like I feel like Giovinazzi's seat in Alfa Romeo should have been Ferrari should have got Ilott in that seat. That's just what I feel.
yeah. Yeah, I saw Nikita Mazepin racing this weekend, and it was just trying to take people off the road. It wasn't really racing. You know, like
Yeah.
people were trying to overtake him, you know, down the pit street, just pushing people into the wall and stuff, and like pushing people off the track. And I was like if that comes into F1, we're going to see a lot of safety cars. But like I don't know, like robust, you know, drivers that you know like to take other drivers off the track, you know, with Grosjean and Magnussen, now Nikita Mazepin to like carry on the legacy. It was very, you know, poetic. And that's what I was saying. I feel like it was like Callum Ilott came second in the F2 World Championship, and Nikita Mazepin has a lot of money. So like, it was like, which one do you want more? A talented driver, or a driver that's like almost as good but has a lot of money? So like, I feel like the money, you know, elevates it. In an ideal world, you know, we'd have Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Grosjean out of F1 and put Ilott, Schumacher, and Schwartzman in, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe not Schwartzman, maybe like is a bit too early, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's just like ideal world that we imagine. But you know, I feel like those other two drivers, Ilott and Schwartzman, are eventually going to get the opportunity anyway. Like, because I feel like if you're talented enough, there's like nothing really stopping, you know, you getting into F1 if you're like really talented enough. And I feel like if they just carry on working on their racecraft or whatever, they'll eventually get the opportunity. Maybe next season.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw like I remember watching F2 in 2019, and Schumacher was not like an amazing driver. He was sort of mid-table, and then you know it seems like now it takes like 2 seasons to get the championship, and before like George Russell was the last one to get it on his first season, and Leclerc got it on his first season as well. But I feel like it's sort of in F2 there seems to be a lot more sort of drivers that stay in F2, like Luca Giotto and
Yeah,
other
yeah,
drivers. So I feel like you need 2 seasons to do it more nowadays. So I
yeah. I
definitely
was
like. I
talking
feel
about
like
how
Ilott is like definitely going to win the championship next season.
yeah, he was man. I put money on. Um, I was saying how what do you call it? Mazepin is like a very robust driver. Is like the words I use. You know.
Mm.
Um, what do you call it? This weekend, I don't know if it was Bahrain or the Sakir Grand Prix. I don't know. I can't remember which track it was. I think it was. I think it was Sakir. On one of the races, I don't know if it was Saturday or Sunday, he was just pushing people off the track, and he's just like pushing people into the pit wall.
Yeah.
Like someone was doing DRS and went on the inside, and he squeezed him into the wall, and it was like the craziest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, no, and he was awarded penalties after the race, but like I was just like, if this driver is in F1 next season, we're going to see a lot of safety cars, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I don't know what it is with Haas. I think Gunther Steiner really likes those type of drivers that like cause safety cars. I don't know, just maybe he just really likes the safety cars.
Yeah, it's for Drive to Survive.
Yeah, maybe he just really likes safety cars, you know. But yeah, I don't know what it was. I don't know what their selection process was, you know. I feel like they saw the money and then they saw like a highlight montage, you know. This is what Nikita Mazepin's team did when they pitched like him to Haas. They bring in a TV on like the wheels, and then they just show him like highlights of him like pushing people off the track, and then they're like, you know what? This is this guy, and he's like, they're like, oh, you know what? He's got money, but he drives like a Kevin Magnussen, so maybe he's better than Magnussen, a better alternative to Magnussen at this point. I think that's how they decided about it.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see, I guess. I don't drivers like Latifi and Mazepin. I don't see lasting that long after 22 with the cost cut personally. Because Latifi hasn't impressed.
Yeah, unless Latifi buys Williams.
Yeah, I remember talking about that like maybe the first time we ever recorded, and it hasn't happened yet, but it could do. Like Aitken came in a Williams this weekend and he was like almost matching or outperforming Latifi. Like Latifi is just not. He's just not that good, and but yeah, we'll see. You know, maybe there's something that could be happen, but we've talked about this sort of thing. Like I remember when Lance Stroll came in 2018 into Williams with Sergei Sorokin, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm getting that right.
Yeah, that was the worst driver lineup I've seen in recent time.
No, I don't think Sergei Sorokin was that bad, to be honest. Like, he was alright, I'd say.
I remember watching him in Singapore. I was like, this guy's awful.
Yeah, maybe.
No, but like the way he lasted only one season is crazy though.
Yeah, because it was the whole Kubica thing, and Russell came in 2019.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, I guess like I had an idea for a debate right now.
About what?
Should the Sakir Grand Prix be like a permanent fixture, like as a double header with the Bahrain Grand Prix?
No, I feel like the race itself isn't. You watched the whole race, right?
Yeah. Some of the race was incredibly boring. Like it was not lap to lap like action.
Yeah, then that's the risk that we have.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was in like Europe, where like the possibility of rain is like just very clear. Northern Europe, not Mediterranean, like
Yeah.
Northern Europe, or like the possibility of rain is like always a thing. Maybe like I'd be like, yeah, definitely. But like, I don't know, when it's like in a dry weather place like Bahrain, and like it's going to be a night race, so like the temperatures aren't like crazy or anything, and like tieway isn't going to be an issue, and we have like, just it's just like a few straight lines. Me, I'm like, I love straight lines.
Hey, I'd much rather have.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to have like a Bahrain Grand Prix at the start of the season and then a Sakir Grand Prix at the end of the season before Abu Dhabi. Instead of having like they've slotted in like the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for next year, which it's just going to be so garbage. Like I just already know, I just know these things. I'm never wrong. Okay, it's going to be garbage.
Yeah, I was saying that I don't like the Sakir Grand Prix is going to be like a worse version of Monza, in my opinion. That's what I look at. That's what I see when I look at the track.
Yeah, that is
obviously like
yeah.
And the thing that's like the selling point when I look at it, like it's not going to be during the day, like nights now. I remember when they did Bahrain and stuff back in the temperature issue, and then like to do like a few extra stops and stuff. There's nothing really interesting on the straight lines of the track,
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know. I like straight lines, but like if you're not going to put DRS on every single straight line, then there's no point.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true.
If you put DRS on every single straight line, I'm sold.
Yeah. But I just enjoyed watching them go from that chicane and then just teleporting into that back straight. Yeah. That was just the most satisfying thing ever. So I think that's enough to just have a race.
The second sector is quite beautiful. Like I don't know. I saw the second sector. I was like, that is so nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you just got like overtaken opportunity. I don't know. The one place that has like the most overtaken opportunities and that doesn't have any straight lines. I don't know, that just shows. It just goes to show like DRS is just not working.
Yeah. I feel like there was so much DRS that it just got completely neutralized around the whole track or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So I guess like the last thing to go over is the classic predictions. So okay. I think
did you do predictions for Sakir then?
Yes, we did over text.
Okay.
This is yours, and you gain like because of Perez and Stroll, you gain like a massive haul of points in F1.5.
That's what I'm freaking talking about. That's
so
if I had more faith in what do you call it? It's even said if I had more faith in what do you call it? I would have got a perfect weekend.
Yeah.
For F1.5.
Yeah, you've like massively gained in.
Right, in those ways.
Like massively gained in on me. I got nothing from F1 and I got 2 points from F1.5. So I'm sitting on 99 right now and you're on 88. It's only 11 points with final season predictions and another race to go. So it's definitely possible for you to win. This race was also really detrimental for me because I needed Verstappen to get into P2 in the championship, but I don't think he's going to do that unless he wins next weekend. So yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a close one, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very unfortunate for me because I'm like, Actually, no. If Verstappen stays in third, wins, and you don't, so I'll be happy with that. You know,
Yeah.
I'll get points from Hamilton. I'll get like half points from Verstappen, and then points from Mercedes.
Yeah.
I don't know who's winning F1.5. I don't know who's winning the
Oh
F1.5
yeah, I
currently, but
haven't followed
I
that
have
up.
science. Now, I have Sainz and Perez winning, and Ricardo. Like those three, I feel like those are definitely the top three of the midfield. If I'm
Yeah.
not going crazy, because I feel
Yeah.
like those three have. Yeah, I feel like interchangeable. If I get them in the right positions, then I should be good.
Yeah.
But I predicted McLaren. I predicted McLaren instead of Racing Point, and it was like, yeah,
Yeah, so
but
I
this
guess
for Abu
Abu
Dhabi.
Dhabi, yeah, the last race of the season, finally. What are you feeling?
I think it's gonna be like a Hamilton to win. Did you come back?
So that's been like a big news story. They're not sure yet. Depends. But
Then
I could just
I don't know.
substitute Hamilton and Russell as the same driver, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should flip in. What do you call it? Just wait until like everyone's like confirmed, and then we could just like do it.
Hmm.
It's like because I want to be like I want to be very, very, calculated at this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rash, you know.
Yeah. Um
Yeah, so like, yeah.
but what do you think of like Abu Dhabi next week? Because I feel like it's gonna
I,
be a snooze fest.
I don't know. Other than Sector 2, like, there's not really anything going on.
And Sector 2 is just a chicane, right?
Yeah, no, but like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about that chicane. It's like, I feel like every other part of the track was like amazing. Not amazing, but like a lot significantly better, right? Then that chicane would be like, everyone would be hyping up that chicane. For me, no,
Okay. Yeah.
because it's like, let's say you go down across the detection zone, DRS, chicane, and then the other person is, I don't know, like, just very, because I remember we were like down three abreast into the chicane, and then like I remember Stoffel Van Dorn like getting like through the chicane, something like so the chicane. That's it. That's the only bit I look forward to.
Yeah. I think my main problem with Abu Dhabi is
So
how, the first turn's okay, and then 2 and 3 are like really nice section, and then it's that chicane going into the hairpin, which just like ruins it for me. Like that sums up everything about how like Abu Dhabi is not a track that was designed to be a good track. It was a track that was designed to basically feel like a tourist area and was made to be an attraction. Because that chicane going into the hairpin is basically a result of them building the hairpin so close to the grandstand, that massive like grandstand that's in front of the like it's got like the Ferrari world behind it. That just sums it up for me
yeah,
how they spent all this money and it's basically a tourist area, but it's not actually made to be a good track. So that's kind of why I hate it.
they could have made the like chicane shorter, and the going into the chicane. They'd like put in a chicane that they brought Deppin back if they really wanted to. But anyway, we move. I don't like Sector 3 at all.
No.
Like I look at Sector 3 and I just despise that sector.
Yeah.
Like right angle turns, on right angle turns. And it's just like, when you look at Baku, for example, and you see right angle turns, you're like, oh, this is like the same corner like 5 times. But it's like, it's because it's a street circuit, and like the way those streets are, it's like very, they've got blocks, like it's very American-ish. But like here, there's no need for right angle turns. But like, where's a swoop in left hand or where? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they just do that. They just built it around the hotel bridge. So like the really expensive hotel that they have.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah. we've got a hotel here, and then they always mention it in commentary, like, oh, going underneath the hotel, and why? I
Yeah,
know there's
it's
a
such a David
hotel, but
Croft.
like,
It's such
you
a
don't need to
David Croft like sort of
tell
moment to
me.
be like, oh, under the hotel next to the marina. Like
Mm.
that's such like what David Croft would say. But
Yeah, the marina. Yeah, the
yeah,
marina. Yeah. Oh my god. And it's like, and they always talk about the yachts and stuff, and it's just like very. They do that at Monaco as well. It's like, oh, they do that at the flipping. They're like, oh, the swimming pool and stuff. But it's like that was actually called the swimming pool. This one is like you don't need to name a corner after the hotel. Like we see the flipping hotel.
yeah.
The funny thing is, yeah, if he's told me it was a hotel, first time I got told it was a hotel, I was kind of like a car park. So it's not like a car park at the city, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hope
So
hopefully
like,
it's like a good race, but I'm kind of happy that, you know, have a little bit of a break. It's been just the most crammed in season I've
yeah,
ever witnessed.
yeah, like I don't know. It's just very, what do you call it? It just, eats into my soul, but like it's my time
Mm,
and like my presence of mind and stuff.
yeah. Yeah, for sure, yeah.
But yeah, just
Yeah.
as you know, it is.
Yeah. Um well, I guess that's everything really. Is there anything else that you noticed?
Yeah. Nah, yeah, that's everything for me.
All right then, cool. We do this for next weekend and then maybe do one more, 2020 review and then first season done, have a break. So that'll be cool.
Yeah. And
All
then
right,
let our channel die. But,
our precious handle, like our valuable handle, like Cranky Yankee
yeah, but
said.
it's a cranky Yankee.
Yeah. You wish
Business
you could be
inquiries
us.
at
Yeah,
Breakdown Bias.
we've got the best handles on Twitter. We're just it's like the trench coat, the handles. But yeah.
Yes. Uh,
We just need to get verified next, and then we'll just the values through the roof.
yeah. It's
Um,
crazy.
what were we gonna say?
I'm looking at the predictions now. And it's like it's crazy how you met BC up until like Russia. You basically had like an insane lead up until like Russia. If you look at
Yeah.
Germany downward, just Germany downwards, like just go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my god!
We'll
Like,
see. It's
that is
close.
ridiculous.
It's close. You could definitely win it, but yeah. I guess that's everything.
Because if I have another weekend email, yeah,
Sure. I guess that's everything.
I can subscribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Subscribe
Thanks for joining me. So
would help.
see you next week.
Leave a comment.
Leave a comment about what should you comment?
What you think?
Leave a comment about how bad Bottas is.
Too much, doesn't it?
Yeah, leave a comment about how bad Bottas is, just for the real ones. Yeah, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next weekend. See ya. Bye.